Do you like to travel? Do you like to volunteer? How about both, travel and volunteer? Well, the next person I'm going to introduce you is Bird, who's actually going to bring this concept to you, and you're going to hear more about this concept of traveling and volunteering. This organization serves as a platform for the people to go overseas to do volunteer work, and in return welcomes people from abroad to come to Hong Kong and volunteer. They hope by combining volunteering and traveling, this can give the participants some food for thought and start to take more actions to make an impact to the world. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Bird, someone really interesting. So today we're actually talking about traveling and volunteering, a great concept that Bird has brought to Hong Kong. So without further delay, hi Bird.
Hi, Jeffrey.
How you doing?
Yeah, great. I'm glad to be here.
So before going into your organization and stuff, I'd like to know more about your childhood. What was it like?
Oh, childhood is another disaster. Actually, I was born in China.
Okay.
Yeah, and like some years ago. I mean, I was a new immigrant.
Okay.
I moved to Hong Kong when I was 6 years old, and that's before the handover back to China too. And you know, like I thought I was just like many mainland new immigrants that facing the similar social challenges.
Right.
In a very poor family, rely on the social welfare and living in the public housing with really small one, really tiny one. It's actually a single apartment,
okay,
only for my father originally. But when we all moved to here, and then somehow we all pack in that small one. And actually, I really have no idea how my sister came out. You know,
wow.
how she can be produced. You know what?
Right, in a small place like that.
Exactly. But this is not the only challenge. The bigger challenge is because of my all kind of difficulties, all kind of social pressure putting on my family, and
sure,
my mother also suffer from bipolar,
okay,
kind of depression, really serious one, after my sister gave birth. And also my father is like different kind of long-term chronic diseases, and so all sort of things keep bothering us. And my father passed away when I was maybe in my 15.
Okay.
And my mother always go to hospital, like every year,
right,
at least 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's tough. And my sister actually grew up in Bangkok. Yes.
Okay, wow.
So all sort of like a social welfare service in Hong Kong is like I was like, luckily I was able to have some social services like Caritas, some children caring center.
Right, so many NGOs in the way.
Yeah.
So what made you inspired to start this organization?
Lots of things. I think that the major reason is actually simple. Just curiosity. Just found us. That could be interesting. I mean, like for all the difficulties in my childhood,
right,
and I was glad that I survived. Yeah. And I still managed to go to university and met a lot of good mentors,
okay,
good friends. They inspire me, they coach me, they transform me. And
so explain what this is. Travel, volunteering. You know, people love to travel, but
yeah,
volunteering is another thing. So explain that.
To me, originally, volunteering is not my original purpose at the first place. As I mentioned, just curious. Like after all the trauma happened in my childhood, like, and when I get to university, it's like an occasion for me to reborn, reflect, whatever. And then I heard people said that they find another self through traveling, because you went to something really like different from your original culture, somewhere really isolated from what you experience for your whole life, all the things. And then I went to travel. That's why I just interested in travel and travel in terms of being a backpacker.
Okay, so the cheap kind of traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the expensive traveling around. Okay.
Yeah. For two reasons, this is like the best way to experience the local culture, but at the same time, I cannot afford another kind of traveling. Yeah, but to me, travel is not just travel. Mm-hmm. Travel is more like a process of transformation.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
So, was it the first time you traveled outside of Hong Kong? Was it your first traveling experience? Or when was it?
Depends how we define travel. Because like I go to Changzhou, I can set this travel too.
True.
But, indeed, my first time like a travel experience that taking flights.
Okay.
Was in secondary school, like a foreign kind of like some school tour to Inner Mongolia.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this is a arranged program. Indeed, it's not really traveling for me, but it's already quite stunning.
Wow!
Because like a lot of different things happening, but what really making me looking forward to it is more. When I was in university, I heard my classmate telling me how he was experienced when he was traveling in Tibet.
Wow! Yep.
And then it make me set a goal like, oh, I should go somewhere like that cool. And when I graduate, so I will define it as a traveling experience is my graduation trip to Tibet.
Okay, so that was your first big one.
Yes. Yeah.
And how did that change your life?
It's too much.
Okay.
Without that journey, I think I won't be like the person today. There's too many things can share, but in short, I concluded in 3 parts.
Okay.
One is, I said, that the environment change. Mm-hmm. The things, the world that you perceive changed. Your world will change.
Wow.
And I saw another way of living. When I visiting Tibet, you see, like a Tibetan is, just another kind of world they are living in. That we are living in the same world, but their world is totally different from ours.
That's incredible.
And this is what I thought is incredible too. And second thing is about all the friends that we met during the journey. Like, I felt like backpacker have sort of passcode. You know what? When I was traveling, you was traveling. We are backpacker.
Right.
I can spot you at once.
Right.
Because like the other people are local faces, and then you are different. I am different. We are friends. No doubt.
Like a Wi-Fi connection.
Yes. And it's just so clear. You don't need something
dating
like dating app or whatever.
Right.
It's like automatically like you can see each other and then make a connection.
That's fantastic.
And never get wrong. And this is something that I really enjoy, and I really learn a lot from them. Like even though they are like traveler in mainland China or like other countries. We just share similar values.
Okay.
And they strengthen my belief.
Right.
Because we share the same one. I think sometimes what most challenging is not you are being different to the others. The challenge is like you find no one together with you. You have no community. But like backpacker is like a community, telling you that you're not the only one.
So it's like solidarity.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So explain travel and volunteering then. Is it something very new, or is it something that's done everywhere else? Because I've never heard it in Hong Kong. I just thought you just travel. People love traveling to Japan, Thailand, and just enjoy and shop and eat. But traveling and volunteering, what's that?
I think to me it's actually the same for the sake of like what I mentioned. If you're looking forward to meeting new friends, building common purpose, doing some meaningful deed like for the world or whatever, for yourself even.
Right.
And then like backpacking is a great way to do that because it break the boundary between a tourist to a more like a part of the community. But still, being a backpacker is still a guest to the locals. And then I found like, hey, is there any like more advanced way, like really breaking that wall that I can be part of the locals? Can it be possible?
Right.
And then later on I find that, no, there's one. I have a friend, actually I met in Tibet, who's a journalist. 2 years later, he joined a volunteer project in Mongolia.
Right.
And she shared the experience to me like, oh, this is exactly what I want. And she told me that there's something called International Work Camp. International Work Camp means like a bunch of people from different nationality form a group and working in the same places for a common goal. And so it consists of a few different part of elements, like a local community, you have international volunteers, you have some facilitator, or we call it camp leaders, connecting the locals and the global volunteers, so that we can really work together and communicate. And I thought that this is exactly what I'm looking forward to. It's even better than being a simple backpacker.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I'm going to hopefully continue this discussion again after the break, but looking forward to hearing more.
Yeah.